Hi everyone! Today we will be doing a Get Ready With Me featuring the Amrezy palette. So let's jump right in. So first I'm going to be taking my LA Girl Pro Conceal in the orange shade to conceal and correct all dark spots and hyperpigmentation. Then I'm going to go in with my Real Technique sponge and blend that out. So I'm getting all my spots covered and blending that in. So following that concealer, I'm going to go in with the shade Toast to further conceal and correct, just to cover up the same spots that I used with the orange concealer previously. And again, I'm going to work that into my skin with the same Real Technique sponge. After blending, I'm going to take my Urban Decay Primer Potion and just prime my eyelids, spreading a thin layer all over my eyelids and up to my brow. Alright you guys, now that I am primed, I'm going to take my MAC Studio Finish Concealer in the shade NW40 to further sharpen up and define my eyebrows. Here I'm taking that same concealer in the shade NW40 and cleaning up the other brow. Taking the LA Girl Pro Conceal in the shade Toast, I'm going to run that along the tops of my eyebrows to further clean them up and sharpen them a bit more. I'm taking a random Urban Decay brush from one of the Urban Decay palettes. I believe it is the Vice 4 palette, and just shaping that brow and concealing it further with a brush to sharpen it out. Moving along, I'm going to take my MAC paint pot in the shade Painterly and apply a thin layer to my eyelids from the lid all the way up to the brow bone. So I'm going to crack open my Amrezy palette and begin with the first shade, which is Carmel, and work that into the crease with a fluffy blending brush. Ladies and gents, blending is very important. It is needed in order to achieve full opacity and intensity of the color. I'm going to add about 3 layers of this color to achieve the intensity and warmth that I desire. After applying the Caramel shade, we're moving on with the following shade called Morocco. I'm going to apply this in the same fashion, focusing it in my crease and blending it upward, also moving in circles as I go along. I'm gonna take the Deep Plum shade and begin to work that in my crease as well, focusing on more of the outer V area and still using a circular motion, bringing it slightly upward onto the Morocco shade that we placed earlier. Now I'm going to take a mixture of Morocco and Caramel and just softly diffuse the edges of the deep plum shade that I placed earlier. After doing so, I'm going to darken up the outer V area with the shade LBD from the Amrezy palette. Here I'm working it into my crease in upward and circular motions. Finally, I'm going to take my Maybelline Color Tattoo in the gold shade and pat that slowly onto my lid area. After putting down the gold color tattoo, I'm going to place the shade Topaz from the palette right on top of it, slowly building up the intensity and covering the area. Going in with a blending brush, I'm going to just blend around those edges. Moving on to foundation, guys, I'm taking the Maybelline Dream Velvet Soft Matte Hydrating Foundation in these shades 92 Carmel and 95 Coconut. I'm going to mix these two together to get my perfect custom matching shade. After mixing the two shades together, I'm going to begin dotting the foundation all over my face to further blend it out with a brush later. I'm going in with the shade Fawn to highlight my face and to give my foundation much more of a natural appearance instead of having it look flat. Sometimes foundation can take away the depth and dimension of your face. Using my Real Technique sponge, I'm going back again, and like everything we do, we must blend. So here I'm going to take that sponge and blend out everywhere I put that Fawn concealer by LA Girl. To further blend out my concealer, I like to go back in quickly with my foundation brush to make sure everything is blended and smooth. After, I'm going to take my beloved Sacha Buttercup powder and set all of my highlighted areas. I'm going to take my fluffy powder brush and my MAC Mineralize Skin Finish in dark to dust off the remaining Sacha Buttercup powder and to set the remainder of my face. Going back into the Amrezy palette, I'm taking the shade Morocco and running that along my lower lash line. After applying a couple layers of the Morocco shade, I'm going back into the palette and picking up Deep Plum on the small brush and applying that as well to my lower lash line. I'm going to pick up my Inglot gel liner in the number 77 on a eyeliner brush and put that into my waterline. After that, I'm going to set and smudge out the waterline ever so slightly with the black shade from the palette called LBD. And I'm back, you guys. After applying my liner and lashes, this is what we have here going on with the eyes. To blend my lashes, I'm going to take some mascara and just run that along the tops and bottom. Now I'm going to begin bronzing and warming up the skin with my favorite Covergirl Ebony bronzer. I love this stuff. Moving on to contour, I'm going to take my Becca powder in the shade Cacao and my replica Eater brush from AliExpress and chisel out those cheekbones. After doing so, I'm going to take an angled brush and just blend it out. Going in with the darkest shade from the e.l.f. Quad, I'm going to place that on top of where I placed my contour previously and bronzer, and just blend that out. And I'm going to clean up my contour with the Real Technique sponge and my face powder. I'm going to take my MAC Mineralize Skin Finish in the shade Gold Deposit and run that along the tops of my cheekbones to get that glow. I'm going to take a cool tone brown shadow and run that along the sides of my nose to give it a slight contour. Moving on to lips, I'm taking an angled brush and the MAC lipstick in Ruby Woo, and I'm going to outline my lips and then fill it in with the same lipstick. Going with another MAC lipstick in the shade Chili, I'm going to run that along the center of my lips to give my lips a orangey red vibe. And there's your finished look, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and of course, subscribe.